Why are we called Negroes? Why are we deaf, dumb, and blind? Why is everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind? Why are we mistreated? Why are we in this condition? Stripped of our name, our language, our culture, our God, and our religion. Here in America, all of our religious training has been gotten by the preacher. He has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die. But
Well, okay. Oh, we look mighty close up, Sis
Yeah,
Kalila.
I was trying something. I
Put your back. I feel like I'm all up too impersonal. There we go.
reckon.
Anyway, welcome, welcome, welcome. I always love that intro. It's like it's so catchy. It's just kind of want to keep bobbing to it. But anyway, welcome in. Good evening, Thursday night talks. Good evening again. Assalamu alaikum. It's another long week for me, family. So it's something that you just gotta kind of roll through when the week is long. But anyway, I'm so happy to be here. Please, 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 as you're coming in, the hour is here. Grab a friend, a family member, anybody you think that would benefit from the message that we have this evening. If you did not see last week's um, show, you need to go back after this show and catch up because this show will make sense from the last show. Anyway, I digress.
That's fact. That's fact.
That's
Yes.
facts. So, I am your sister Michelle. I'm the moderator for this evening, and I'm in with my sister Kolila. And she's going to be, of course, taking over in just a second. But, Sister Kalila, what do we always mention for them to do?
Absolutely. It's always important to.
Like and share, subscribe. Because of course, you're on Facebook and, we're on YouTube. And just in case if you don't like being on Facebook and you want to go on YouTube, you can certainly do that. Just make sure you press the subscribe button. So there you
Right.
go. So anyway, again, I appreciate you. And I see Brother Tony has came back. So before I move over to Sister Kalila again, it's been a long week. So let's bring in the rest of the family with a bang, right? And yeah, just lift it up, girl. Just lift it up.
Listen, Sister Michelle, first of all,
Yes.
I want to compliment my sister because you look beautiful today.
Oh, thank you. You as well. I was gonna say I didn't need to get we didn't get a chance because normally y'all we get a chance to talk, before we get
Right,
on.
right.
But I'm loving this top that you got on.
Hey, only a reflection of you, my dear sister. I want to first start off in the most holy name of Allah, always bear witness that there's no God but Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad to all praises are due. And I further bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is I exalted Christ. And I further bear more witness that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is our fighter, still fighting for freedom, justice, and equality for all people, not just black people,
Come on.
not just black people, for all people.
All people.
So give it up to our father, your champion, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And in those holy names, I said holy because they're divinely guided. I greet you again in the greeting words of peace in the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum. I am hyped.
Hi.
Listen, I am hyped because we're going to go into something that I love to do because as you, if you all don't know me, I love to laugh and I love to have fun and I love to be, you know, around the believers, doing things, promoting things, supporting things, being in tune not only with the word, but making it enjoyable. Because, one thing I learned, Sister Michelle,
Yes,
is
ma'am.
when you learn about the teaching in a harmonious way, you will be able to absorb it more than learning it in a classroom setting. So that's why a lot of teachers do like these board games, or they actually have like illustrations on the board to kind of get you more intrigued with the actual conversation or the actual subject, because guess what, that's still learning even though you're having fun. So me,
That's
I like to have fun and learn at the same time. I don't know
love it.
about you, but
I
that's what
do.
I like to do. And it seemed like our brother is getting his internet challenge on.
Oh,
So
see, that was me last. No, was it the week before? I think it was the week before. I could not
right,
get him to save my life.
yeah, so listen, I'm just gonna look, I'm trying to wait on my brother, but as I was
Mhm.
saying, right? I think, Sister Michelle, we really need to dive into what our children like to do with us
Right.
and try to close that gap, because a lot of times we are parents and we want to be parents, and you want to be in tune with your daughter, your son, but you also want to be able to create a avenue where your
Mhm.
child can actually be interactive with you. Because like I told her, I was like, I want to learn how to do TikTok. And my
Right.
daughter, she knows how to do the TikTok thing, and that could be a activity that me and my 9-year-old do. But the thing is, what we're going to show you tonight will actually be something that is more engaging, and it's more based off of the teachings and knowledge, and you
Oh,
can do with your children as well.
I
Listen, I don't know what our dear brother is going through, but I want to get started because that's just who I am.
well, listen, we know that we'll know that Brother Tony will jump back into the game.
Absolutely. So
And
let's do
again,
this. Let's
mhm.
do this, Sister Michelle. If
Okay.
you don't mind
Mm.
taking the liberty of reading our ministry,
Yes,
um,
ma'am.
which is the Ministry of Spiritual Development. If you can read that and we can just wait on our dear brother, that would be great.
Yes, ma'am. So let's get into it. The Ministry of Spiritual Development. This ministry bears responsibility for assisting the individual member of the community in the process of heeding truth and right guidance. Respect, honor, and obedience to the authority of the Creator in all aspects of life are essential to peace, harmony, freedom, justice, and equality. In the words of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, self development is an absolutely essential component of this microcosm of a new world. Microcosm of a new world, excuse me. It is not enough that we grow horizontally through the acquisition of farms and factories and banks and industry, trade, commerce, money, and good homes. Horizontal growth alone is death. All dead things are on a horizontal level. Therefore, we must grow vertically, grow in uprightness, or we will or we will be overcome by our horizontal growth. The foundation of this ministry are study and training units designed on the guidance of Allah God to produce self examination, self analysis, self correction, and to quicken in each of us the self accusing spirit. For it is only when we are awakened morally that we have to face that self accusing spirit that leads to our resurrection. That is it.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
And again, what Sister Michelle is highlighting is self-improvement, the basis of community development, the introduction letter. Um, and I strongly, strongly suggest, um, I mean, it's right there. The basics of community development. That is just the beginning of what we should be learning to uplift not only ourselves, but also our community. So we actually have those classes on Friday.
Friday. Come on now. 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Come
That's
on
right.
now.
So
At your
excited.
local mosque right by you, the closest one you can get to.
Absolutely. And without further ado, my brother, can you see me? Can you hear me, Brother Tony?
I think his internet is still being a little bit challenged.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's something with the Wi-Fi. So
Oh,
okay, so we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Well, Brother Tony will figure it out. It happens, family. You know these things.
Can you
Can
can you hear me?
Oh yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I think I got the Wi-Fi working properly now.
look, Brother Tony, look, that's rich people problem, because rich people when they move, you have to deal with all the Wi-Fi stuff because rich people, what I'm saying, have to deal with rich stuff. So
I was here looking at both of you. Both of you were like doing the freeze multiple times, and then you're like, what? I'm like, all right, I know it's not them. I know it's me.
but that's rich people stuff because my dear brother just closed on his home. I'm just saying, first of all, listen, ain't nothing like the beautiful highlight of my dear brother. You have to realize, my brother Tony, I am so proud of you, Brother Tony. You have no idea of how proud I am of you. And the universe is proud of you. So that's why I say rich people stuff, child. That's rich people problem. I'm trying to be like you when I grow up, Brother Tony.
Praise be to Allah.
But the floor is yours, Brother Tony.
Praise be to Allah. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, the one God whom holy praises are forever due, the Lord of the worlds who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, I am forever thankful to Allah for the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. Buenos dias. Sak pase. Welcome to Thursday Night Talks, headed up by the 7th Region Coalition to help save lives.
That's right.
Dear family, we are honored to be of service to you. We are very honored by us being chosen by our student regional minister, Student Minister Patrick Muhammad, assembling us almost, Sister Kalila, almost, Sister Michelle, 3 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Soon after the Criterion message
That's right.
of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And we were put on a course, on a study, on an initiative to save lives, to warn our people about a dangerous inoculation, if you will.
Right.
We're not going to give it the credence of calling it a vaccine because it's not that.
Right.
But an experimental inoculation. And we were put on a course to save lives through vital information. Later that year, in 2020, by the fall time, we had this program, Thursday Night Talks. We called it Thursday Night Talks because we didn't know what else to talk to call it, And we didn't want to make it so obvious that we were talking about that particular issue because of so much censorship on YouTube and on Facebook and other social media outlets, on Instagram. So it was a nice cover, and it continues to be a nice cover. And we're still working to save lives, guiding our people to vital information that they absolutely need through the 9 ministries introduced to us by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Thank you for reading the the ministry for today, Sister Michelle, while I was having Wi-Fi issues. And of course, the ministry that we're also focusing on is education, because we, as adults, as parents, it's very vital that we play an integral part in the education of our children. And our beloved brother is going to be sharing some things. Oh, we have the Ministry of Education.
There we go.
And I will go ahead and read that ministry, beloved family. The Ministry of Education is responsible for the mental and moral development of the members of the society by means of formal instruction in a prescribed manner over a prescribed period of time, in a system of learning ranging from preschool through primary through advanced academic levels, culminating in the conferring of academic degrees under the direction of a National Board of Education. In addition to academic instruction, students shall receive teaching and training in the way of righteous conduct, decency, and self-respect, with the goal of making a better nation of people. And I'm going to add that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has taught us that learning should be fun.
Absolutely.
And we're going to bring on our brother once again this week. He was our guest last week, so it's, you know, it's not a it's not a secret or anything of that nature. We're bringing on this week once again our beloved brother. Should I introduce him?
Absolutely, you should.
Let me introduce. I'm going to say some words about our beloved brother. I got to meet him from by way of Student Captain David Muhammad in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And the way he introduced me to him, he said, "Good believers should know good believers."
Wow.
And I was humbled in being called a good believer. I'm striving, family. I'm striving. I'm not all the way there yet. I'm striving. The moment that we say that we're a good believer, like, oh yeah, we're getting all a little chesty and stuff. No. We should always be striving. Always striving to do the best we can. So with no further ado, if we could bring on our beloved brother, Brother Antonio Muhammad, out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, Sister Kalila, Sister Michelle, Brother Tony, and everybody who's watching.
Praise Allah. Brother, look, Brother Antonio, it was so nice last week. We had to do it twice.
Oh, praises to Allah. And, you know, folks need to know about the after set we had after the broadcast.
Exactly.
And I heard about it because I was on another program in Espanol.
Beautiful.
Maybe another, I don't know, Brother Tony, probably another 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes we went on for.
Praise be to Allah.
Beautiful time with beautiful company.
Praise.
All praises due to Allah.
Yes. So look, Brother Antonio, I was just at awe with the tribute game, right? Because as soon as I got off the line with you, I called my sister, who actually blessed me with my godson. You know, because I was like, hey, I'm going to send all these books to you, blah, blah, blah. She was like, oh, child, you late. Your godson got all of those books. I said, well, does he got the tribute game? Does he got the tribute game? No, he don't got the tribute game. He's going to be like, good. I'm gonna get them that. So I really want to dive into that trivia game because it is a game to me that not open the eyes and the mind, but it also opens the soul in regards to knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And that's what Islam is, right? So
That's correct.
if we are, learning ourselves through what you created, right? How can you encourage? I know you don't like upping yourself, but how would you encourage someone that's outside of the nation to buy this particular product?
Yes, ma'am. First of all, in the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master, the Lord of all the worlds, we can give him praise and thanks for one who is our spiritual Father in heaven. He started off as a messenger and he kept growing in power. So he can price bigger now. The second stuff. We pull no punches and playing our man and who he is. And it's honorable. That's Muhammad. We thank the two of them for backing one of the greatest black men that ever walked the face of this earth. The most powerful man right now. We are students of, helpers of his tribe, be good representatives for. He is the side of the world for honorable messengers. Now, to answer your question, answer your question.
I think we're having an issue with the connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brother Antonio, we're having an issue with your connection, beloved.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. It sounds like you're going in and out of the matrix.
Yeah.
Well, we are. The more we dive into these teachings, we are going in and out of the.
You sound better now, brother.
Praise to Allah. And the more we dive into these teachings, we are going in and out of the matrix. Back into the matrix to save our people, right?
That's right.
Hence the program, saving some lives here. So, to answer your question, I always ask people, what do you know about teaching Honorable Muhammad? Who are critics of the teaching really don't know much. It's all hearsay, or dad told me this, or Facebook said this, or I got a degree in YouTubeology, so YouTube said this about what the nation did, and some of us are really lazy when it comes to research, or rather somebody tell us something, and dig in, trying to find the information of ourselves. So that's been my motivating factor to try to power the reader with as much information as they can on the 10 subject matters that I cover.
Okay. So, Brother Antonio, I can't quite understand what you're saying because you are going in and out. I'm trying.
Can you get yourself in a better location, beloved? Maybe.
Yeah.
For some reason, it jumped in a couple of times. I log off and log back up.
Okay. That would be great.
That would be good.
And this kind of just
Just 10 feet away from my router, so it's probably like one of the best places to be in the house right now.
Oh, that's probably why.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's see what we can do. Yeah, we know that that internet's a challenge, boy. I don't know.
It is.
It's like it affects you, like at any given moment.
Look. Down here in South Florida right now, we're wrestling with the weather, and that of course affects our Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had issues when I first logged on earlier, and we need to talk about on the East Coast how it's flooded with smoke from the fires in Canada. That's a potential show that we could discuss in the future. Okay. How to keep our people safe from those issues. Brother Antonio?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's try it now, brother.
All right. I'm clearing my browsing history too to see if they help. But you know how it is. I don't know.
Sometimes it is. Don't worry.
Yes, ma'am. You know, we watch the webcast on Sundays here at our local mosque. We sometimes encounter interruptions in the broadcast anytime the subject is hot. You know,
Yeah.
they plan a lot of plans, and a lot's the best of plans.
Of course.
Right.
So
All right.
as you were mentioning, and I hate for you to do a repeat because I wanted to hear every word you said in regards to promoting your the tribute game outside of the nation. How would you, you know, promote or execute this game to people that really do not understand but want to seek knowledge?
Yes, ma'am. Something I didn't say before is that in the beginning, my primary focus was to empower believers, to strengthen our foundation. I don't know if you were in the nation back in 1997 when our minister was sparking out the believers meeting at 70 say about how strong is the foundation and we survive. And in that message, even if you weren't there in person, I believe the message is available to the believers. But in that message, the minister skillfully and with great wisdom dealt with 3 points of the attack from the enemy and attacking our foundation. And it would be the attack of foundation regarding the Prophet Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad himself, and what they brought to us. So that's kind of the backdrop I wanted to empower the believers to make sure that our foundation is strong in knowing the teachings of the Elijah Muhammad that's taught by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And then from there, those who are in the public who want to know more about our teachings, some of us, as I was saying earlier, some of us have easy approach to fellowship or to study. We want somebody to tell something over and build up for ourselves. So I wanted to make it easier for our people to do their research, so that when they dig over here, dig over there for certain subject matters that we teach, you can find it all in one location.
Okay, I think I Sister Kalila, were you able to?
I was able to hear some of it, but I got the concept.
Yeah, but Antonio, we continue to have issues, my brother.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What I did understand, part of what I did understand is that that the original intent of the trivia game is for us as believers to have a strong foundation when it comes down to the knowledge of the teachings and also the history of our nation.
That's correct.
So, but Brother Antonio, what I'm going to comment in regards to that, it's also important for those who are not members of the Nation of Islam, especially those that theorize a lot about what our foundational roots are, theorize about what we're really about, to really become more acquainted with us. Because, as a people and as a collective, we do a horrible job of just simply going up to one another and asking questions about what do you believe, what are you about, what do you do for fun, what are you about?
Right.
And I remember this in the midst of 10-10-15, the 20th anniversary of Million Man March. Did you know that on college campuses all over the country, they were having workshops, they were having discussions, they were having lectures about the 20th anniversary of Million Man March. They were having discussions about activities, things that were going on all over the country. In many cases, the mighty FOI were out in the streets. They were in the streets of Missouri. They were in the streets of Houston. They were in the streets of many cities, Baltimore, many other cities throughout America where riots broke out, near riots broke out. And the FOI, and in many cases, the Black Panthers, as well as the Bloods and Crips, were guiding people to safety. And These were some of the real things that were happening throughout the country at that time. It was very heated in the midst of many of our people losing their lives as a result of being pulled over by police and shot to death. And the minister addressed this at 10:15, but nobody came and asked us to sit on any panels on college campuses. No one asked us what's happening with 10:15. What is your agenda? What is the mission? No one was doing any of that. And so, Brother Antonio, the game that you've developed in the children's books that we highlighted last week, those are perfect tools, perfect materials, if you will, to help bridge the gap with our people, which absolutely do need to know what we're about, what we believe in, and why we believe the things that we do, and why we move out on particular things the way that we do. And so that's what I would say about that, beloved.
Yes. I'm sorry that the entire message is not getting through. Can you hear me now?
Are you able to get on your phone?
Yes.
On my phone? All right, one moment.
You could get on your cell phone.
All right.
Go try that.
Yes, sir.
That might work. That might work. Because I definitely want
That may be the ticket right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, that might be. I was saying that I want to make sure that we hear everything that the brother has to say.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't want to miss anything, because last week it was really informative, and the initiatives that he's taking to educate the children in a way that they're just not getting, not even close at, in the schools. And if we can provide the brothers providing those type of materials, directly from the teachings, you can't get nothing better than that.
Sister Michelle is just, again, with the misinformation, the amount of misinformation that there is about the Nation of Islam, this is absolutely critical, especially in our firm belief, in our unequivocal belief. It's a lot more than just belief. It's knowing that the guidance of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is the way to go, and is how we can guide our people to safety in this hour. There we go.
All right.
Oh.
Is that a little better?
Yeah, much better. Yes.
Yeah, all right, brother. And
Praise be to Allah.
Sister Michelle, thank you for that idea that you transmutated in my mind.
That's tech support.
That was a great idea,
I'm giving you the credit too.
Thank you.
Now, although you all can hear me, your volume has gone down.
Really?
It's all right.
Yes.
We can clearly hear you, beloved. You can
Yes.
hear
All
us.
praise is due to
Even if
Allah.
it's low, we can hear you.
They hear us all the time. We need to
All right. So, Brother Antonio, once again, so that the
Yes,
audience
sir.
can
Let's
hear
get
you,
it cracking.
Why would this tool, the trivia game, why is it important, not just for us as members of the Nation of Islam to have and to use, but also the lost and found, those who are not members of the Nation of Islam, who we're trying to reach and trying to bridge gaps with?
Yes, sir. Thank you for the question. We have a lot of false propaganda that's going out here,
Yes, sir.
where the narrative is being given by our open enemy. Some people recognize them as the open enemy, but will still give them or give ear to their lip service, and some does not recognize them as open enemy, but take everything they have to say on face value. Most of our people are not equipped to do adequate research. They pretty much take what's given to them and accept it on face value. They'll take a docu-series on YouTube or on Netflix and take all of that, or a movie that's put out in Hollywood, and take all of that on face value as if it's law, as if it's the truth. Even if there's a disclaimer at the beginning of the movie or the end of it saying that some of the information in here is fictitious, and we've added fictional stuff to increase the drama of the entertainment aspect of it all. They overlook that, and they're not able to discern because they don't know. They're not able to discern truth from falsehood, fact from fiction. So the enemy is very skillful in how he propagates his propaganda, whereas our people are not going to dig in and say, well, this was correct, but this over here was not.
Right.
You know, so it's upon us. It's our responsibility to hurl truth at falsehood till we obliterate his brains, as the Holy Quran teaches. So, you know, we have several tools in our arsenal. We have the Final Call newspaper, the #1 program, which we should be out there every week pushing that program. We have the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's thousands of messages on YouTube and all of our student ministers all over the country that we're striving to promote. And all of us as believers who have the duty and responsibility to promote these teachings, but we need tools in our toolbox.
Come on now.
We have several books at our disposal, and this is just one book that Allah guided me to contribute to the arsenal in our arsenal bag, if you will. And my intention, as I was saying in the beginning, you only heard part of the message. In the beginning, my first intention was to strengthen the foundation of the believers.
That's right.
But my next intention was to present the book in such a way that the people could have easy access if they had questions about the mother plane, instead of having to reach out to get bits and pieces out of this lecture or from this chapter of this book and going all over the place, trying to consolidate all of the information in one location to make it easier for them to understand.
Or, Brother Antonio, play a guessing game in making up some bean soup science, as we call it in the Nation of Islam.
Yes, sir.
You know, but now you have a source right here that will have actual facts about.
That's
that
right.
information.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The beautiful thing about, you know, believers, we love to use the term righteous competition.
Right.
Yes.
And with righteous competition, there's always competition, but a lot of time righteousness goes outside of the window when it's competition, because again, nobody don't want to be in second place. Everybody
Come
wants
on
to
now.
be in first place, right?
Right.
So with your tribute game, because you can use it as righteous competition for the believer. And, you know, it your book kind of lines you to be polished and use righteous competition as it relates to your book and your the tribute game and your tribute questions. And I want to bring up this one here because me and my husband was blessed to actually be in the company of Brother Supreme Captain's daughter, who made a tribute board game.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
when I say that game blew my mind, because you know, it's one of those things like I want to be on there. I don't want to answer no questions. But the questions were things that I knew. And I was so happy that I knew them, right?
Yes.
And questions that I didn't know, but I was able to understand why I did not know.
Right.
In your, you know, book, are there questions that they are more informative than questions that, duh, you should have known that. That was, you know, NOY 101. You know, you should have been in orientation.
Well, you know, in orientation, you get a brief cursor
Right.
of our teachings in the nation, but you know, when you have those opportunities to dig deeper into certain subject matters, I strive my best to dig into all of the sources from the companions of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who stood with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to help him rebuild the nation. Some of them who have lived with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, such as Minister Jabril Muhammad, you know, Minister Abdul Rahman Muhammad, Minister Khalid, or pardon me, not Khalid, Minister Akbar, of course, Malcolm X, One of my favorite lectures by Malcolm X was what he did in December of 1962 called The Black Man's History. That lecture is loaded. You know, he was still the minister of Mosque number 7 at the time,
Yes, sir.
representing the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So,
Yes, sir.
of course, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Mother Tanetta Muhammad, Minister Abdul Allah, who the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan referred to as a walking encyclopedia.
Right.
Wanted to go to all of the heavy sources to dig deep in some of the things they were able to share over the years. You know, as you was talking about righteous competition, you know, we have that competitive nature.
Right.
You know, that's just in our nature. And that's why in the Nation of Islam, we have military drill, and it's called the exercise of the gods. You know, we're not just learning our discipline and face movements and military organization, but it's also preparation when we want to have some fun, right? For righteous competition. You know, everybody wants those bragging rights.
Right.
You know, you were kept mentioning in the beginning, talking about fun. What I did was, as one of my motivating factors, I put that at the beginning of the book when Minister Jabril Muhammad asked the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in Closing the Gap, when he asked him the question, what is fun? Do you mind if I read that real quick?
Please.
Sure.
Man, we're on the same frequency,
Absolutely.
beloved. I mentioned that earlier.
Praise be to Allah.
That I don't even want to show nobody my Closing the Gap. It's, oh my God, the pages are.
I was so happy when they came out with the hardback. Oh man, because mine it was so beat up.
my soft cover copy is like
telling my
almost
story,
destroyed. Yes.
Yes. I had to put clear tape on the cover because it was just so wore out. So the cover of the book was just shining with clear tape on the entire cover, trying to preserve it as much as I could.
I was gonna say, Brother Antonio, you still got a cover? Because I have no idea where my cover.
You have no cover.
The tape saved the cover, sis.
It like it just.
This is on page 6 through 9.
Yes, sir.
In the White Trivia game. And of course, it's coming from Closing the Gap. When Minister Jabril asked, Brother Minister, how would you advise us in this awfully turbulent world to help our children with proper fun? Toy manufacturers, of course, are greedy and not really looking deeply into the interests of children. What advice would you give us with regard to buying toys for our children? What is fun? The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says, the question is, what is fun? Fun to one person is ignorance to another. Fun to another person is what is trifling to another. The question we have to ask is, what is fun with God? Does God engage in trifling things? Does he engage in things that are foolish? So what I found as fun is the joy of learning today what I did not know yesterday. I literally enjoyed my teacher teaching me things on the violin that I didn't know, and then making a joke out of what I did wrong that I now am learning to do right. We don't have time for trifling things. I want to say that again.
Come on.
We don't have time for trifling things. Children should not be engaged in just silly things, playing with toys that do not teach. The joy of living is the joy of learning. Since Almighty God Allah created us as a reflection of himself, it would seem that from as early as we can think, we should find joy in the discovery of truth. We should find fun in the discovery of things that grow us, that edify us, that evolve us toward God. Mindless games are valueless with God because they misuse youth. Children are mischievous. They find something that we can learn from mischief, games of learning, games that increase one's dexterity, that teach skills in doing things, games that challenges us mentally. I was talking to Bobby Brown in Houston, a great performer. He said, brother, I really need your help. I pulled him close to me because there was a lot going on. I whispered in his ear, brother, you don't need me. You need a closer relationship with your creator. In answer to your question, which dovetails into what I said to him, I said, when you were a sperm mixed with ovum and your mother wasn't conscious of this until she missed her menses that something was happening with her. But the intelligence that was in the sperm knew what it had to do. So it made contact with the egg and the first cell of life began. Mom, unaware. Dad, unaware. But you, in that stage, were aware, and the Creator was aware, and the Creator was present with you. As that first cell of life began rotating in the darkness of the womb, there was light present in it that caused it to rotate. Then you became a clot. You became an embryo. You became a fetus. God was ever present before anyone had a relationship with you. Your duty is to create or to make a right relationship with your Creator. I said, when you came forth, parents looked at you and loved you, happy to see you, and mama either gave you her breast or she gave you milk and you began to grow. You couldn't talk, you couldn't walk, you couldn't crawl, but something was going on in the brain. Mama didn't teach you to crawl. You just did that. Mama didn't teach you to pull up on something sturdy that you can stand up. You did that. Then everyone was amazed when you took your first step, but no one taught you that. It was intelligence that was already in you in the relationship with your Creator that was nurtured by your mother, your father, and the environment in which you live. Well, wasn't that fun? It was fun for us on the outside watching our baby crawl. It was fun watching the baby coo to say thank you. It was fun watching you take your first step. So fun was the joy of watching growth and development. That's fun with God. If I want to have fun, let me engage in that which grows me into Him. That is real fun. Toys and things that parents give their children should always be with careful thought. The enemy wants us to waste time. With God, there is no time to waste on foolishness. Children are ready to learn if we are ready to teach. So get no mindless games or foolish things. But if there is a toy that you want to give your child that which challenges growth, development, dexterity, skills. Then you watch that child grow and watch the smile come on your face, and that is not that of a comedian. That's the joy of watching the evolution of life. In closing, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, as the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, so it is in education. The child should know at 6 years old what its future is, what it wants to do with its life. If it engages in mindless, foolish, and triviality, it will not get in tune with itself to know at 6 where it wants to go. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said at 18 years of age, we should have finished our doctorate degree, ready to go out into the world to practice that which we have learned in theory. If you get a doctorate degree at 18, how much time do you have for mindless activity? None. God does not waste time. Neither should we. The first thing I remembered that my mother gave me to play was a violin. She was not about mindless pursuits. When she brought me toys, it was like Chinese checkers, something that engaged me, or a puzzle, something that engaged my mind, and then something to read. I thank God Allah for my mother, who never ever engaged me with mindless stupidity and called it fun. Brother Jabril, thank you. Brother Minister.
Great.
Praise be to Allah.
I wanted to set the tone with the words of the Messiah in our midst, and that sets the tone for the book. And as people read this book, by Allah's grace and permission, I get calls from all over the country of how much fun they're having. You know, when that spark of light gets in your mind, you know how it is when you read something you never heard before, never saw before, but it resonated with you because it was the truth. If it wasn't true, it would not resonate with you. You wouldn't get the reaction that you're getting, but the truth would turn you out like that. It will put a spark in your mind. It'll enlighten you. You'll feel the energy from that truth. Falsehood can't do that. So that's what the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad does for us. It puts that spark in our mind. And, you know, sometimes my parents kind of joke with me about this sometimes. They say, Dad, looks like your skin shining more the more you read. That's because the light that's coming from within, from the word.
Right.
You know, it's that the light of truth that's in that word is putting that spark in my mind, and it comes out in the skin. No.
Brother Antonio, what pages of Closing the Gap was that?
The first page, 69.
I'm sorry?
First page, page is 69.
6 through 9.
That's
so that
I put that in NOI trivia game, page 69.
Wow. Oh yeah, because look, let me tell you something. I just bought my book. Listen, y'all play with me if y'all want to. I have just bought my book just based off of that. I mean, because at the end of the day, we have young children. How
Right.
many times your child is literally coming to you and saying, you know what, Mom, let's talk about how Allah came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. Or why are we the original man? Why is there a colored man? Why y'all call the colored man the the Yaku, the white man and the Yaku graphic devil? Why? How many times have you got your child to really come to you and really crack the atoms that God created that you know that they are not privy to know?
Right.
It was one of those things that when my daughter went to an Islamic school, and it wasn't the MUI, but it was an Islamic center, and she was studying Arabic, and she was they had like this resuscitation where they had to recite certain parts of the Quran in Arabic, and I love the concept, but it was just concept. There was no meaning. Do you know what you're reading? Do you know what that means?
Right.
And I think when you develop the meaning of what you're reading, you get a more enlightenment of what you're reading and what.
Right.
Right.
So, going back to you, Brother Antonio, I like the word trivia simply because it gives the opportunity to think, but not think on a negative and gross way. It's
Yes, ma'am.
thinking of knowledge from God Himself.
Right.
I'm trying to come up with an answer that God created. And it's not like you can make this game out of something that's out of pocket if you are in your righteous state, right?
Come on.
Because
Yes,
the minister
ma'am.
said, your righteousness shall sustain you. And I think
Right.
this is an excellent tool that will sustain the believers in righteous competition. I have to use that quote, righteous competition. I've seen some righteous competition that righteous competition. Put those air quotes in. Come
That
on.
competitive nature comes out now.
My God. Come on. This is righteous competition. But righteous competition. But Sister Michelle, you had a question.
Yeah. So what I wanted to ask is we started to talk a little bit about those individuals that may be interested in getting the trivia game, but may not be a part of the Nation of Islam. So may not be exposed to the teachings or exposed to information that you would get if you're on that journey to learn more about self and about your history and really about your nation. So if someone who's not a part of the nation or not a part of that journey and thinks this could be something useful for their child, is there something that they need to prepare to take to do the trivia game? Like, is there something books that they need, or how do they prepare? And if it's a trivia game and they may not know all the information that may be in the game, how do they prepare? How do they get engaged so that they can have the same experience that you're sharing that other children have or other people have with using the trivia game?
Beautiful question, sister. Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praises due forever, said, we don't give a baby steak. You got to give a baby milk.
That's right.
So you definitely have to prepare the reader. Not saying by any means that it's like an advanced course or anything, but I always lead with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad before I do anything, because he's the source of all of this. And the way Allah fashioned him, he fashioned him in such a way to make the truth very plain that even the fool could understand. And I always measure up who the audience I'm dealing with, because you can't deal with everybody the same way.
Right.
Master Fard Muhammad also said human nature is like fish. They swim in schools. So you may have a school of thought over here, a school of thought over here. So we can't try the same approach with everybody. So after I measure or assess my audience, or whoever it is I'm engaging, I will either lead with Message to the Black Man, The Fall of America, or How to Eat to Live. And once they're opened up with that, I might introduce Our Savior Has Arrived from there. Again, it's depending on the audience. Then, I may come with my book, or the minister's book, again, depending on the audience, Justifiable Homicide, or the study guides. Because some people, we got a lot of people out here dealing with mental health issues, or, just need help with stuff. So, the study guides would be the thing they need to start off with. And that could be a segue to introducing, well, what's going on in the world? Are you watching the news? You might want to get this book, The Fall of America. So once they've been opened up to the teachings, then and only then would I introduce NOI Trivia Game.
Yes, sir.
Makes sense.
Brother Antonio, in light of that, I have a question. So has anyone that you've encountered, well, I'm sure you have encountered, but in what way have you encountered, like, let's say someone purchased your the trivia game, that you found that they benefited greatly from, that they expressed that they benefited greatly from the trivia game, and it helped them improve their knowledge of the teachings and our history as a nation of Islam? If you could get,
by the grace of, yes, sir. By the grace of Almighty God Allah, I have not met one individual that has not benefited from the book.
Praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah.
And that lets me know that Allah's hand is in it. And when the believers can be encouraged and inspired to want to study more, one question that I get a lot, whether it's through a phone call or Facebook Messenger or email, one of the main questions I get a lot is, well, what's the source? And I say, well, the source is in the back of the book. Yeah, but you don't list the page number, the paragraph. And one thing that I learned early in my tenure in the nation, when I first came in at the age of 17, and the brother that was my captain at the time, he would never give you the exact page something was on. He was trying to encourage and inspire us to study. And he would say, in the book of Isaiah, somewhere between the 8th and the 15th chapter, it's somewhere in there, brother, you'll find it. He'll just give you enough to go off on, but he wanted you, to be encouraged to study.
Right.
So as far as I'm concerned, there's not one word revealed from Master Fard Muhammad through the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that we should not be striving to study. So I would rather just give the person the book, the lecture, the final call article it came out of. Am I going to timestamp that it was on part 3 of Theology of Time, the 15-minute mark going into the 22-minute mark? Absolutely not, because you should be listening to everything the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had to say.
That's right.
I'm not going to say it came from page 16 or 17 in the Torchlight for America, or page 38 from Closing the Gap. Read the entire book of Torchlight for America. Read the entire book of Closing the Gap. Everything we've been given. We have to be scientists. We have to be encouraged. We have to be inspired. We have to be motivated to study God's word. Do we want to enter God's kingdom? How else can the kingdom of God be within you if in the beginning was the word was with God, the word was God, then the word became flesh?
Right.
How can that word become flesh if we're not putting the word in the flesh? I don't like surface dwelling. And I encourage all, dig deep. Put your scuba gear on and go all the way to the depths of the ocean in these teachings. Everything we've been given, study it all. I mean, don't be sporadic about it, of course, have a purpose, but, we have to, everything that we've been given, we need to be internalizing.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
We stunt our own growth when we don't.
Right.
This is the truth.
And to add to that, Brother Antonio, that means filtering out what's not necessary that needs to be there.
That's right.
Because a lot of times we are we get so frustrated with ourselves when we can't absorb what is needed in our lives, because we don't want to let go of past things that we do not need in our life. And it becomes, can't say it on the air, but maneuver where it just needs to be gone,
Right.
So when you like, I just don't get it, I just don't understand, maybe you need to let go some stuff in order for it to sink in, because
that's right.
Knowledge in your cup cannot be overflowing already.
Come on now.
You cannot come to this and say, okay, well, child, I heard that before. Okay, did you apply it? There's a between hearing something and applying it, because your perspective would not be, oh, I heard it before. Your perspective would be, all praises are due to Allah. Allah Akbar, alhamdulillah. Help that thing. Indeed, I receive it. So
come on, sis.
I think with this game, to me, when I'm one of those type people. I used to like to entertain. Yes. I think something happened with Righteous Competition. I have to get audited about that, because I'm telling you, it starts off fun and it becomes like, okay, everybody get out. I have to do like Fred Sanford. You, get out.
Sister Kalila, raising charity and you don't have no money in your pocket.
Right. It's like,
I have nothing to contribute.
Right. So, but this will be a fun activity. And for those of you who are listening, do something fun with your Moss family. This will be the perfect opportunity to buy this book, look into the book, make it out of a game, with Righteous Competition, make sure that you have that disclaimer. Hey, this is fun. Let's have fun. Don't try to dissect the book. The book is there as a guide. Don't be that person, right?
That's right.
And be able to have fun activity. And that's what the minister wants. Every Tuesday.
That's right.
I remember when I was brought up in the Nation of Islam, I was born in the Nation of Islam. Every Tuesday, we actually had sort of like a gathering of believers, and we had fun things to do. Whether it was like singing, listening to the minister, because back in those days it was, on, the album, White Man's Heaven is a Black Man's Hell.
Right,
we had that playing in the background, while we're, doing some things, drilling or, doing fun things. But we need to kind of get back into that, because I think, and because we lost that. And I won't say we lost it, because some people do participate in that. But you can tell when you go to certain mosques or certain areas where it's so
stuffy.
Very stuffy.
Right. When we, Sister Kalila, when we just limit it to we're only attending Sunday and not Wednesday or Friday, we're just attending Sunday, let's say. And we're holding posts, and paying charity, and and doing what we do on Sunday, and that's it.
Right.
It becomes like church. We were not called to a church. We were called to participate in the resurrection of our people, beginning with ourselves. And we ourselves cannot be resurrected.
Right.
We ourselves are going to become rusty dusty if we're not out and consistently engaged in the study. Wednesday and Friday night are critical, but also the social events, Sister Kalila. The social
right.
events are critical.
It's very
Because how else are you going to know your brothers and your sisters
I'm
as
telling
being brothers and sisters?
right.
I mean, you're just
Right.
going to be there like, holding pose, okay, and like nothing else, and then just get into some conversation about duty throughout the week or something, and and holding post or something, and that's it. I don't get to know,
Right.
From Brother Antonio, what kind of sports he likes,
Right.
what
That's it.
what
There you
what
go.
other kind of activity he's into. You're not gonna know about
Right.
Brother Tony liking poetry. You're not gonna know about that Brother Tony is a nerd when it comes down to watching documentaries while he works out in the morning.
Right.
Goofy stuff like that. So we gotta know about those kind of things about each other.
Sure.
That's right.
And it's important because it's called character building. And
Right.
we can't do character building when it comes down to Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Monday, and Sunday. I can't get to know you as a sister, as a brother within that time. You can, but it's going to be limited,
Right.
because we have a structure that we have to adhere by. And so if you're in a storytelling mood, we're going to have to say, hey, with all due respect, you got to go to the next question. You know what I'm saying? And so, but that beautiful thing about Tuesdays was that I actually knew my auntie can electric slide. I knew that my auntie can drill. I knew that my auntie kind of, I didn't know you could cuss. You cuss, auntie? You know what I'm saying? But again, it was like, I love the fact that it was a reality and it was something that you can grasp and hold on to versus your day-to-day activity in the mosque. So
That's right.
In
But
that
dear
light,
sister, Master Fard Muhammad in the 1930s,
come on,
he set aside Tuesday nights,
right?
the time for the believers.
That's
That's
right.
He would give the children gifts. He would dance, and some of us heard some of the stories where he would dance in the waltz with a glass of water on his head. Some of the believers would be playing baseball with each other.
Right.
Some of the writings I saw, he would meet with the laborers early in the morning, but in the evening, it was all about the believers having a good time.
right.
And when you think about it, out of the 7 days of the week, we had meetings, for most of the days of the week. Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and then Tuesday nights was for us to have fun.
Right.
So out of the 7 days of the week, the believers were to be in each other's company 6 days a week.
Right.
Now, what's the science behind that? 6 and 7. We can get into that later. You know what I'm saying, for the scientists on the call.
Right.
But when you consider all of that, we are building a new family for a new world. And how can we do that if we're not interacting with one another?
Spending time.
The Holy Quran teaches us that Allah created us into tribes and families that we may know one another. How can we know one another? What is knowing?
Come on.
To know something, you have to have experience with it.
That's
You
right.
learn. There's a process of education, but if something is vague or void or absent, how can you learn from that? The believers will never get to know each other if they're not spending time with each other. We will never build family relationships if we're not spending time with each other. And it can't always be the word. The God knew that. He made it a point, and he set the tone. He went out there and danced. He gave gifts to the children, and he gave gifts to the laborers. So if the God, the Lord of the world, set the tone for us, what type of behavior should we be having?
Come on now.
How can we justify not spending time with each other?
Mhm.
We're social creatures.
That's
And
it.
those that are not social creatures, that are introverted, that's not Allah.
Right. They're just a creature.
Yeah. But we've been conditioned in certain ways of living in Satan's world, and we think that this is natural and that it's okay. No, it's not natural. We were born alone, we're going to die alone, but while we're here, Allah put us here for us to interact with each other.
That's right.
That's right.
Brother Antonio.
Yes, sir.
The trivia game is on its 3rd edition. If you could share some facts that you have in there. I'm sorry.
Hold on. It's the
This
3rd
correction?
edition? No.
Yes.
It's the 3rd edition. So I got the 3rd edition. So
Wait.
okay, I'm sorry.
Are you on the 3rd edition or what edition is this?
I didn't see the first or the second one. Whether you got the first and the second one now. I need the first and the second one. I ain't see it on the website.
No, you don't need it, sister.
Brother Antonio. Let me ask my question, sister.
Oh my goodness. Jeez Louise.
It's
With
an
the
evolutionary
third-
type of work.
I'm joking.
Okay.
With the 3rd edition, now being the 3rd edition, what are some interesting facts of the history of the Nation of Islam or the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the guidance of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that you included in the trivia game that made you go, ooh, I need to just include this in here. It just got you excited. Can you share just some of the it's all interesting, of course, but some of the ones that get that kind of effect on you?
Oh.
Yes, sir.
I like that.
I mean, well, the 1st edition there, sister Kalila, is it only had about 600 and something questions in there.
Only?
Yes, only.
Okay.
And as students, we keep studying, right? And Brother Tony just said, "Oh, I gotta add that to the book. Oh, I gotta add that to the book." And so I had a little journal that in my studies over the years, I would keep notes in this journal and where I got the information from. Oh yeah, I gotta add that one to the book. Oh, I gotta add that one to the book. And so 2nd edition came out, and it had 700 and something questions. This 3rd edition, which I believe, of course, there's much more that could be added, right? But I believe that this is sufficient to lay a strong enough foundation. This 3rd edition has 830 questions and answers. So I think that's enough to,
You can always add, beloved.
But some of the things I came across over time is, for example,
come on.
A lot of us talk about, the God came July 4th, 1930.
Yes, sir.
And many of us assume that's when he started teaching. That's not when he started teaching. That's when he started laying the foundation to teach us.
Yes, sir.
There's a radio broadcast Honorable Elijah Muhammad did called Master Fard Muhammad, not a silk peddler. In that radio broadcast, it was in the 1960s sometime. Right at the beginning of that radio broadcast, he was talking about how the God, when he first came in July of 1930, from that point all the way into the springtime of 1931, he was laying a base with his customer base, with those that he was selling raincoats to, taking orders for tailor-made suits, the silks. We found in other writings, business card orders for those who have businesses. Just getting the people acquainted with him, because again, his name is W.F. Muhammad. That W in the beginning is for Wallace, which means stranger.
Right.
And it is said in the hadiths that Islam began strange and it would become strange again. Check that out. So he comes under the name stranger, but that stranger evolves into Wali,
right,
which is a friend. Not
right.
only a friend, but the protecting friend. And the Quran says Allah is the friend of those who believe. He brings them out of darkness into light. And there's a reference to that in the Problem Book, Cave Out of Darkness. Another discussion for another time. But some of us assume that, he came and started teaching on July 4th, 1930, but he really laid a base, getting the people acquainted with him and us acquainted with him, drawing that attraction. drawn that familiarity, that comfortableness. And once he let our guard down, then he started teaching us in the spring of 1931.
Come on.
So the messenger briefly went over that in that radio broadcast. Some other facts is, man, there's so many.
Yes, sir.
830, right? When Master Fard Muhammad first started being taught by his father, he was 4 years old. Fun facts about his siblings. I was under the impression earlier in my studies that he only had one sibling,
Right.
his older sister. But according to Minister Rasul, when he was interviewed by Brother Joshua on the People's Podcast,
Yes, sir.
he revealed during that interview something that Mother Tanetta shared with him, that Master Fard Muhammad also has two brothers.
Yes, sir.
One of the brothers live in Japan,
Yes,
and
sir.
one of the brothers live in Mexico.
Yes, sir.
You know, so I added that to the book. Man, there's one fun fact about which goes into the sacrifice of the God in his labor in trying to teach us, where he went across the border to Canada on a very cold night teaching our people. And when he came back to the messenger's home, he had a chair set in front of the stove, and the stove was turned on so he could warm up his feet and his hands. You know, I mean, we're talking about the Lord of the worlds. And if he can do that for 3 years and 4 months, what excuse do we have
Come on now, beloved.
to not soldier in the cold and to not soldier in the blistering heat for a couple of hours a day, couple of times a week, when he was on the grind every day, every night, to raise 25,000 in 3 years and 4 months? So his demonstration of love for us, man, look, we ain't got no excuse. We can't sit here and be trifling, you know, and lazy over 25, 35 final calls, 50 final calls, 100 final calls, and not bringing no lost finals to the mosque. I mean, come on, man.
That's
The
right.
Lord of the worlds got off of his throne, built heaven on earth, built the mother plane, took it up into the sky, and he could have been good,
Right.
but he came down and suffered amongst us.
Come on.
So we don't have no excuse. So I wanted to put as much information about the God in here as possible, because we have to know our God.
That's
Right.
right.
How can we call his name and not know who he is, not know what he did? Only you're comfortable with just a few tidbits of information, and that's sufficient. I'm not comfortable with being a believer.
Come on.
I want to be a knower of the teachings.
That's
Come on,
right.
teach, beloved.
That's one of the attributes of Allah. I don't see anywhere in the 99 attributes al-believer. You know, that he's the best knower. Aleph, not me. You know what I'm saying? So I can't grow into the God just being stuck with belief. We have to know these teachings. We have to be able to defend these teachings. And then if we don't know it, how can we defend it? When the enemy comes and attacks, are you going to say, you know, don't come to me with that. Talk to brother so-and-so. He knows more about the teachings than me. That's cowarding out, man.
Come on. Come on.
All of us should be able to defend our God and defend our minister and defend the Christ Messiah, the Son of Elijah Muhammad. What type of believer are we if we can't defend what we say we're standing on?
Come on now.
That's why the minister wants us to strengthen our foundation. It will never be able to do that if we're being lazy with our studies.
My God.
Brother Antonio, what about
Yes, sir.
some fun facts about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in the trivia game?
Oh, man.
Oh, and then before
No.
before you ask the before you say it, ask the audience. Just about one or two questions.
Oh,
One or two questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see if the audience
let's see if the audience could answer some of the questions.
Yes.
No, that's a good idea. I like that.
And then we're going to...
So we got 3 different categories now. You got easy questions, medium questions, and difficult questions. Which one
let's
y'all
start with
want?
an easy question.
I was
Let's
gonna
Oh,
say
some easy.
ones.
All right. 'Cause we want to make it fun for everybody, right?
All right, I'm ready to type it in, brother.
Oh, that's a medium
Oh, look.
question.
Brother say,
Let me go back to easy.
He says he wants a hard question.
He said he want a hard with. Come.
Brother
Oh,
Khalik
Lord.
wants
Oh, that was my son right there. He,
Oh,
you
brother,
know,
Ah, oh, no, he don't count.
probably know all
you know,
the
he
answers.
don't
He
want
know
no
all the
breaks.
answers, beloved.
Brother Khalik,
Trivia
don't
information.
know
Trivia
all the answers,
information.
Brother Khalik. Don't make us look bad, Brother Khalik.
Let's start off with an easy question, Brother Khalik. Do not answer the question. Let's start
Don't
off
ask
with
the
an easy
question.
I gotta tell y'all, when we do play NOI trivia, if you're not on Khalik's team, you know, they be like, I don't want to play. Because, you know, he done ran through like the Master Fard Muhammad questions and the Mother Plane questions. Oh man, he done ran through them so tough. They be fighting over him to be on their team, man.
Right.
Oh no.
Like
All right,
one
so
easy
what we
question
got?
is, where did he find all 104 books on the list?
Where did who? The most honorable
This is
Elijah Muhammad?
an easy question for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Well, I got to read the question before that one first. How many books were on the list Master Fard Muhammad gave him to study?
Okay, well, you gave that answer.
Okay.
Gave the answer. Then the next question was, where did he find all 104 books on that list? Come on, audience. Read my mind, sis. I'm like, where did Jeopardy music at?
That's
LeBron on trivia night.
LeBron on trivia night. All right. So the question is, how many books was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad instructed to read, and where did he find those books?
Right.
Right, yeah, it could be a two-part.
With those,
Two different questions.
Okay. All right.
Chad
Student
got
Minister Chad is responding.
All right.
Congressional Library, that's 104. And that's, of course, in D.C.
That's correct.
That is correct.
You smart,
Thank you,
Brother
Mr.
Chad.
Chad. In
Brother
Tampa.
Let's get it, Brother Chad. Let's
Brother
get it.
Antonio, I
Praise
think
be
you're
to
gonna
Allah.
be
Go ahead, Brother
that very
Chad.
soon.
Okay,
Here I go with a medium question now.
Uh-huh.
How long did the FBI question him for?
Ooh, Brother Chad.
Ooh. How many hours did the FBI question the Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Ooh.
Ooh.
All right.
So,
All right, audience, what'd you say?
Brother Nolan?
You could take a guess.
Brother Nolan said, "Y'all not gonna catch me." out."
Nolan and Antonio.
Brother Nolan said, "Y'all not playing with me tonight."
Right.
Chad, come through.
Don't get off the call now, bruh.
Chad, come through. What you, Brother Chad calling in a
You
friend.
can guess, beloved.
Look, he said, I don't.
That's right.
Come on, shoot up a number.
We might have to add that one to the rules, Sister Kalila. We got to phone a friend.
Phone a friend.
A lifeline.
You got it.
All right, so I don't think we're gonna come up with the.
Okay. You got
We're not gonna come up with the answer here.
yeah.
I think we're gonna need Brother Khalik answering that question.
Brother
How many-
Khalik, come
How
up through with the
many
question.
hours, Brother Khalik?
He's an ant building. Amen. Come on, Brother Khalik.
How many hours is that?
Oh Lord.
Oh God. All right, Brother
He
Khalik.
may have dropped off. How many hours is that, Brother Antonio?
That'd be 14 hours
Oh,
until 8 or 9 in the morning.
Oh my God.
Oh,
14 hours. Oh,
well,
hold on.
Brother Khalik answered, and that's sorry, Brother Khalik.
I told you, you got to ask him a Mother Plane question, bro.
Your father developed the trivia game.
14, brother. You short 4, brother. But look, you answered. Others didn't.
This is the point.
Here's another medium question that I want to throw in here.
All right, come on.
And I believe, if I remember correctly, you can find this in Minister Jabril's book, This Is the One.
Okay. Oh, my mama need to be on here.
Oh,
That's my mama.
Yeah, that book is fire.
That's my mama.
It is fire.
The messenger, to his surprise, what did he find inside of the 104 books he studied at the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C.?
Ooh.
What did he find?
What did he find?
To his surprise.
To his
What
surprise.
or who, Brother Antonio? What or who?
I'm gonna read it
Oh,
again.
Brother Khalik says easy.
Brother Khalid said easy, easy work, light work.
Look, you got the last question wrong, Brother Khalik.
Oh my God! Do not rub it in, right?
Go ahead, Khalid, if you got the answer.
Go
That's
ahead,
why there's
Khalid.
my students when they say easy peasy, and then they get the answer wrong.
Oh Lord.
That the Holy Quran.
Brother Antonio Nolan Land says that the Holy Quran was the most important of them all.
Well,
You're on the
Master
right.
Prophet Muhammad told him that
Right.
the best book out of the 104 is the Holy Quran. But
Right.
what did he find out as he was going through all of those books on his list that he was given? To his surprise, what did he find in those 104 books?
Well, I think we have the answer here, Brother Antonio.
That is correct. A picture of himself.
A picture of himself.
Wow.
Wow.
A picture of himself.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I think Brother Khalik's going to be looking for a reward, brother. You
Your
got that answer
reward
right.
is with your Lord.
Not in that household.
Oh man.
All right.
Okay,
There goes
one
one.
more. Okay, one more. Give me a good one. Give me a good one.
We're gonna stick in the medium section again.
All right.
Master Fard Muhammad showed him a vision in September of 1971 of what the book that he wrote, The Guidance for the Hereafter, or the next 10,000 years of history, would look like. How did he describe it?
Brother Khalik says bean pie is a proper payment.
Well, tell him to get his brother Samir in the kitchen and make some bean pie. Look, fam, I gotta say this. My son Samir, he's my youngest son. He just experimented with making some bean pie for the first time about 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh wow.
Made the crust homemade and made the pie, and it was excellent. Shout out to my son Samir. The crust was good and the pie was good.
Samir, let me explain something to you. We do in the Nation of Islam, we do what we call courtship process, but we also make sure that the right person and the right MGT is capable with the right FOI. So
That's right.
Say 7, and my child is 9. We would like to do something.
Oh my God. Oh Lord. Brother Antonio.
All right, Brother Antonio, can you repeat the last question?
Oh man! See, this is having fun.
Do that.
Back to what we said in the beginning. We're having fun discussing the teachings, right?
Yes.
Right.
Come on.
Master Fard Muhammad showed him a vision in September of 1971 of what the book that he wrote, The Guidance for the Hereafter, or next 10,000 years, would look like. How did he describe it?
All right, let's do we have any answers? Can you repeat the question, beloved?
Yeah.
It was a bit
Master
heavy.
Fard Muhammad showed him a vision in September 1971 of what the book that he wrote, The Guidance for the Hereafter, or the next 10,000 years of history, would look like. How did he describe that book?
How did he describe the book of the last 10,000 years of the 25,000 year cycle? Correct, Brother Antonio?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any answers out there? Student Minister Chad?
Come on through.
Come on, Student Minister Chad.
Come on through.
That's a question for you, beloved.
Come on through 47.
Tap in the house.
Oh,
look, we gotta, Sister Kalila, we gotta do like a part 3 of just questions and answers.
Just questions and answers.
Giving out prizes.
Brother
This is
Chad
fun, man.
has phoned a friend. You ain't see that Brother Chad phone Brother the phone Brother James. Brother James, come through for Brother Chad now.
All right, Khalik has an answer.
Lifeline.
He says, I believe he said it was white with green lettering, and I believe it was glowing and small.
Nah.
No.
Partially correct.
Oh!
Partially correct.
Nah.
I was gonna say very near correct, like
Very
lost almost
near
lesson
correct.
number 2, but I can't
In
say
the
that.
language of the
It's
lesson,
partially
beloved.
correct.
Very
Oh, I
near
can't wait.
correct.
Oh, I can't wait till I get my book, y'all. I cannot wait. I'm gonna be real smart, y'all. Don't hate on me when I be real smart. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Y'all want me to get an answer?
Get an answer.
Yes.
Give the answer, beloved.
It's written in Arabic, and he at the time only recognized one letter, which was Lam, the 23rd letter. It's green, and it had light emanating from the words on the pages. And the depiction of this is on the Bilalian flag on the Muslim Journal.
Listen, listen. I know that. I hope that brother Sultan is not watching this, because that was in our Arabic class, and I should have known that. Because we studied, of course, the Arabic letters, and that was something that he mentioned about the letter L. Yeah, but he didn't go into detail about the colors and all that stuff. But I should have known that. Oh
Yes,
man, I'm so excited. Listen, I y'all think I'm playing. I wish I could show y'all my screenshot of my PayPal, because it's like, girl, you done did this. You done bought your little book, and I am so excited because now I have something to offer the believers here in Mosque number 66, that we are going to have some fun in the sun, and we're gonna have fun learning. And I'm telling you, Mosque number 66, all y'all being suit science saying that, listen, the answer is the answer.
That's right.
I don't want to hear it. You saying, well, where he got it from? What God? No. Righteous competition. Now, we are gods, right?
That's right.
Right.
And I love what you said, Brother Antonio, in regards to what your captain said? It's in this. Oh, right. Your captain says it's in this, but you go and figure it out yourself, or you go and find it yourself. If you feel like you can challenge the book,
what did Master Prophet Muhammad say in the lessons? Ask questions and learn all about yourself. What are you doing today for yourself? Your brother from the East wants to know and hear from you at once.
At once.
Nothing wrong with asking the questions, but then he came right behind that and said, what are you doing today for yourself? This question, I got to put this one out here.
Okay, all right.
This one I got to put out here to the public, because now, Brother Tony, what you were saying earlier, like, this was definitely one of them moments, brother.
Come on.
There's a lecture that, now again, the reference material is in the back of the book, but there's a lecture that Minister Abdullah did back when he was under the name Islam John, when he was the minister of Los Angeles. A lecture he did in the 1960s that I was blessed to hear. It's on YouTube, and the name of the lecture is in the back of the book. But I got this from Minister Abdullah that he got directly from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He said, the Savior told him that in 1930, the dissatisfaction of the total population of the planet was 98.7%. Now, this lecture of Minister Abdullah was done on April 12, 1960. So the part of the question is, on April 12, 1960, at People's Independent Church in Los Angeles, the messenger said the dissatisfaction of the total population of the planet was what?
Did you just give us an answer?
Now, if in 1930 the dissatisfaction on the planet was at 98.7%,
Right.
but in 1960, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the dissatisfaction of the population of the planet was at what percentage?
99.9.
Very near correct.
Is it 99%?
99.7%.
99.7. You're celebrating because you got closer.
Don't worry about me, brother. I
Now, that was in 1960.
Look, I won. I got 99.9%. You got 99%. You missed it by 7 points.
No, I said
99.9.
99.9. He said 99.7.
I just said 99%. You said
Oh,
99%. I missed it by 7. You missed
You were
it
off
by
the scale, brother. Righteous competition.
Now, can you imagine for the believers that they're joining in? Can you imagine on a Tuesday night or on a night that the believers could come together, just having
coffee with a tea,
right?
Just having fun like this with trivia questions. Brother Antonio, I know that some of us created like a Jeopardy game based on questions and answers like the ones that you shared in your trivia game. And so, I mean, there's different ways of going about presenting that the trivia questions and the answers.
Yes, sir. There's rules at the beginning of the game where, if you're going by the rules, you have two different teams and you have a moderator. The moderator has the book. The moderator is the one that's going to ask the questions. The teams will say, give me a Master Fard Muhammad difficult for 75 points. The moderator will go to that section of the book and ask the question. And the team will have 1 minute as a team to come up with the answer. If they come up with the wrong answer, the other team has 10 seconds to steal their points. There's also bonus rounds in the book as well. Well, there's, depending on which direction you can either play with or without the bonus rounds. But if you're going to add the bonus rounds allow the team, if you're behind in points or something and you want to come back, there's certain lessons you have to recite within a certain amount of time. So this is also to encourage us to study our supreme wisdom lessons as well. So you might be given 90 seconds to recite the general orders or student enrollment or, and I timed myself saying it slow to make sure that I wouldn't rob a believer the opportunity to get all the answers correct. Right. So all of the timestamps that I have in the book is me saying it slow. So, some of us, we come with, who's the original man? Original man's Asia, the black man, to make it on the creator planet Earth, God of the universe. Some of us going to run it. You know what I'm saying? So even saying it slow, if you know it, you should be able to get it all in time.
Come on.
Right. That is true. That is true.
Nice little incentive there.
It is.
Yes.
I love it. Man, listen, I'm ready. I just put the information in the chat in regards to where you can actually purchase the book. I encourage you all, if you have not visited our brother's page and, just honestly, brother, you're a prayer of mine personally. Because I know
to Allah.
that, and again, I'm just going back in the days when I was practicing, when I was in Islam with my mom, it was the chalkboard for us. It was the black chalk. And that's how we learned how to practice our Islam. But now you have it in a book. Therefore, the chalkboard can be erased. But the book cannot be erased. So the beautiful thing about you have actually put the chalkboard information in a book.
Praise be to Allah.
Beautiful thing. I love it. Brother Chad, we need to see receipts, brother.
Right.
All praise is due to Allah. Shout out to
Well,
Student Minister Chad and the
Yes.
wonderful work you're doing down there in Tampa. I'm always inspired every time I see something in the final call from some of those cities that, went from study group to mosque. I'm always inspired. So shout out to you, big brother.
Praise be to Allah.
Yes.
Inshallah, the National Training Seminar says there. I pray to get an opportunity to meet you face to face. Got to give another shout out to some of the brothers from my city that's on the line tonight. Brother Kenyatta X, Brother LaShawn Muhammad. I see you, brothers. I saw my wife on there, Sister Shamika. And Nolan Land, he's down there in Miami with Brother Tony. Shout out to my brother down there. So much love, family. Praise
Brother
be to
Antonio,
Allah.
we're gonna put that trivia game into effect in Miami.
Praise be to Allah.
Oh yeah,
Definitely in Jacksonville, Florida.
mandatory.
It's already. I already bought the book, so
Don't worry. Fort Lauderdale doesn't know it's coming, but
It's coming.
I just made a decision.
I'll be making a trip to Fort Lauderdale. I'm like,
Don't
we're
worry.
gonna make something happen up here.
Sister Michelle, as soon as he come in, write this.
Speaking of Miami, I got to give a shout out to Student Minister Patrick.
Oh,
yes,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
I was blessed to sit with him on a bus ride back in 2004 when I was the secretary of our city, and he was still the minister of Phoenix. And we got on the bus at Mosque Mariam. This was the weekend where it was Easter weekend when we had the ceremony where we burnt the mortgage of the mosque. Yes, beautiful time. And all the laborers came into Chicago and got on buses, and they took us to Camp Duncan, Illinois. And all the laborers on these campgrounds and man, the minister came out there. Minister Ishmael was feeding us, and Minister Ishmael was whooping folks in chest. I mean, just brutal, just next. But I had a great time, and of course, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan spoke to us. But that bus ride from the mosque to the campgrounds, I'm sitting next to Student Minister Patrick. Brother has a very, very beautiful spirit, and he shared some great information with me. I shared some with him, and we was building the entire ride. So definitely a shout out to 7th Regional Minister Patrick Muhammad. Nothing but love for you, big brother.
Yes, without love, without him, there would not be 7th Regional Coalition.
Right.
That's right.
That's right.
He's always striving hard to do the work that the minister wants him to do. Always working hard to make sure that everything that we do is right and exact here in the 7th region.
I'm a witness.
Major shout out to our beloved brother.
Yes.
Much love.
I'd be remiss in my duty if I didn't give a shout out. I did it last week. I got to do it again this week. Big brother Tim, that's my brother right there, man.
Yes.
All praises to Allah.
Love, brother Tim.
Yes, right, Brother Chad.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, beloved.
That's right. Absolutely, brother Chad. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No doubt.
Listen.
He actually has a son in our city, so every now and then he comes up, and I get a chance to build with my brother,
Praise be to God.
Nice.
Listen, okay. This show should look, because we were having fun, our time has been spent well, but we have a tree of the week. All right.
What is that tree of the week, Sister Khalil?
The tree of the week brought to you by Brother Philip.
Right. He's the originator of the tree of the week.
Brought to you by Brother Philip Muhammad.
We called it the tree of the week because we were trying to guide our people to herbs and supplements that would help boost the immune system, but we need some other things to boost the immune system, and that's
knowledge.
That's knowledge.
That's right.
So our tree of the week is the importance of why a child should know their history and culture.
Absolutely.
Right? It is important that our children should know their history and culture. It's simply because cultural awareness and the importance of our history and roles help young children develop a positive sense of identity and build self-esteem. Studies show that cultural appreciation and awareness contributes to building a positive self-image.
Mhm.
I can bear witness to that because, baby, let me tell you something. When my mama told me when I was 5 years old that I was a god,
Mm.
it was over. It was over.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I promise you, it was very few things in my life that I was fearful of. Very few. All right. It also indicates that history builds empathy through studying
Come
the
on.
lives and struggles of others. Studies in diversity of human experience helps them appreciate cultures, ideas, and um, traditions that they belong to. Y'all remember hopscotch? Do you know that that is a tradition?
Come on.
Mm.
Let's talk. Okay, I digress.
Sister Kalila.
Yes.
Sister Kalila. The Honorable Marcus Garvey, whom we love, is
Right.
our brother from
Yes.
Jamaica, Pan-African.
Warrior.
He
Right.
said, a people without knowledge of their
Mm.
past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots.
My God.
And so
Mm.
what do we look like not studying our nation's history? What do
Mm.
we look like not knowing, the teachings that like and learning it in a fun way,
Right.
That's right.
in a way where we're here like competing for points, or we're competing for, different prizes or things. So, get your copy of the Nation of Islam trivia game.
Absolutely.
Let me pull up that website again.
Please.
That's
You got it.
seventhangelpublishing.com. Go to that website, get your copy today
Yes.
or tonight.
And it's an easy,
Praise be
it's
to
an
Allah.
easy website. Let me tell you something. The website is so convenient. You just go. It's a no nonsense website. I call it a no nonsense website. You say, hey, what you here? What you here for? Hurry up and buy. So you just click on it and it's like, it's like you got it. You know what I'm saying? It's not like bunchy like other websites. It's just really, you here for this? Praise be to Allah. May Allah continue to bless you. I love it. I love it. Hey,
Well,
there's
credit to my other son, my first son, Tariq Muhammad. He did the website. He actually did the cover design and the graphics on the books, the children's books, as well as in my trivia.
Mm.
Definitely a young God, taught himself all of this, and was a godsend from Allah to when you have a vision, Allah sends people your way to help you fulfill that vision.
Come
So I
on.
can definitely bear witness and see Allah's hand in my son. I don't know what was motivating him as a child, doing these things. There was a brother in our community that was running for political office, running for city council, and he put my son in his campaign to help with his website and stuff. And my son was very young. I think it was like 12, 13, 14 years old. And ran the brother's website and helped him with all of that stuff with his campaign.
wow.
So praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. That's beautiful.
Beautiful. Well, that's our tree of the week. We're gonna have you to close us out, Brother Tony. Any closing remarks?
We thank you for joining us, dear family. Keep joining us for the 7th Region Coalition to Help Save Lives Thursday Night Talks. We thank you for joining us each and every week. And if you could please support, if you have enjoyed the quality programming that we have brought to you, please support with a generous donation. It could be any denomination. Cash App us at 7th Region Coalition. And
Denomination? What
denomination, or what did I say?
I don't know.
The denomination.
What's denomination?
Denomination mean any amount.
Thank you. That's not it. I understand that. I don't know.
Okay, you understand amount. Not denomination. That's denomination.
Yeah. That's like,
Look, in plain language, put 5 on it.
Hey,
That's
But don't
right.
sing the rest of the song.
praises be
Put
to
any of
Allah.
them.
I'll definitely be sending my donation. I thank Allah for the work that you all are doing.
Praise due to Allah.
May Allah bless you all abundantly. May He
Allah
bless us
you and
all
your family
abundantly.
abundantly.
And let's go after this, man. Let's raise our
Let's
nation.
do this. Let's do
Praise
this.
You know, raising ourselves at the same time. We can't do one and not the other.
Absolutely.
We have to improve the quality of our lives right along with building the nation at the same time.
My God.
Yes, sir.
They have to go hand in hand. You can't focus only on self and not focus on the people. You can't only focus on the people and not focus on self. That's not how Allah did it.
That's
The
not.
originator was evolving himself in the triple darkness, as well as evolving the environment that he would take breath in simultaneously.
Mm.
You know, we're gonna be driving ourselves crazy if we do it like that, brother Antonio. We gotta do work on the whole shebang, if you will, at the same time.
Right.
That's right.
We have to.
Yeah.
That's right.
Evolve yourself, but with another.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. You have
Do
to.
for self, but you don't have to do it by yourself.
That's right.
Right.
That is true. All right. Well, we're gonna close out because I'm telling you, I love StreamYard, but I want this to be a repeat. So we're gonna look, Brother Tony, close us out real quick.
Dear family, thank you for joining us here tonight. Tune in next week and the week after, inshallah, as we are going to be continuing to bring to you quality programming that is geared towards saving lives. Thank you so much for joining us. May Allah, God, bless you all. And we leave you as we greeted you in peace. Assalamu alaikum. We are the
Salam.
7th Region Coalition. Roll your setup, Sister Khalila.